Hello and welcome back to another DF Retro Play. Audie's Early is still here.
I'm indeed here, up in the stars.
And this time we're playing a game on the Sony PlayStation. Specifically, Star Wars Dark Forces.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. You're a big fan of this game too, right?
Yeah, but primarily on the PC. But in the spirit of DF Retro, I thought it would be fun to go back and revisit the PlayStation conversion of this game.
Yeah, I only played the PlayStation version, so I'm kind of curious. So what's the biggest differences between them?
Well, we'll certainly get to that shortly, won't we? But it is an interesting port from a very different time when PC and console games were typically separate. And we saw stuff like Doom, we saw Hexen, Quake 2, things like that show up on the different consoles of this era. But Dark Forces actually runs on LucasArts' own internal engine that was created specifically for this game to compete with titles like Doom, but with a Star Wars sort of theme, of course.
So this doesn't use any of the Doom code. It's completely original?
Correct. This is an original engine, original game. And we're going through the introduction here, getting a few random skips along the way for some reason, because it is, PlayStation optical drive.
Yeah, we've had an interesting week when it comes to the PlayStation.
Yes, that's for sure. At the time of recording, at least. So,
Yeah.
all right. Here we
Man, at this time, when this came out, I've been a lifelong Star Wars fan. But at this time, I was really into the expanded universe. Did you ever go into any of that?
Oh, I wasn't so much into it at the time, but I'm more aware of it now.
Right. Now it's been stricken off, most of it,
Yeah,
when the new movies
unfortunately.
came. But I was really into Star Wars, and I was reading the Timothy Zahn trilogy. That was kind of like the sequels to the original trilogy at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of what's interesting about Dark Forces is that it's from a period of time where most of the expanded universe and these stories were told via novellas and video games, whereas today we have all these side stories in movies. But this time it was very much alive in video games and in books.
That's right. So, what's not very much alive in this port is the frame rate, unfortunately. Oh boy, yeah. As you can see,
It's been a hot minute since we played this last time.
yeah, it doesn't run that well. It also runs in kind of a bordered window, so it looks like squished somewhat. I mean, it's not terrible in that sense, but okay, okay, so it's a toggle strafe, that's right.
So, what was interesting for me when this came out was that most of the Star Wars games that I've been playing, at least, I wasn't a PC gamer, but most of them were either action games based on the original trilogy, like Super Star Wars or Star Wars by JVC on NES, or like the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter series, so it's all like flight simulator based. But this was the first time, at least I could remember, that I bought this PlayStation version. I could kind of walk around in the world of Star Wars in my own, unique adventure.
And that was the whole point, was, yeah, the first-person game was blowing up when this was made, thanks to Doom. And I agree. I think bringing the world of Star Wars into a first-person shooter at the time was a very smart move, and it really worked well at the time. Because, this does subscribe to that Doom formula where you're basically exploring levels and basically finding your way through it. But it adds a bit of a Star Wars flair with some more interesting mission objectives, and most importantly, it's a game that kind of tells a story. Like, there are cutscenes between missions. On PC, those are done using sort of full-screen bitmap graphics, kind of like the graphic adventure games.
Yes.
On PlayStation, they're actually just videos.
Well, the story of this game is kind of what's interesting for me because, as I mentioned, I was really into the expanded universe. And this, for the longest time, I guess until Shadows of the Empire came out, which you did a wonderful video on, by the way. Until then, this was my favorite story of Star Wars.
Wow, okay, yeah. This is all about the development of the Dark Trooper.
Yeah, I absolutely love the concept of the Dark Trooper. Do you know much about it then?
What's in the game, of course.
Yeah, and the game basically tells the story. The Dark Trooper was this project by the Empire to create this new exoskeleton that kind of, powered up their stormtroopers and made them much more deadly. And also their droids were being updated with this technology.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool stuff. And what's also cool, I guess, is this engine that they're using here, this custom graphics engine. Is this what let me see here. Is there No, that is walled off. I think this can do some rooms above rooms, which
okay.
was a very special thing at the time, but I can't quite remember off the top of my head.
Huh. Yeah, Doom couldn't do that, right?
No, not well. There were some tricks that eventually could be used to simulate that, but you didn't really see it.
But this basically did it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think let's see what happens here. If I go down this ramp here, yeah, because I could. Well, no, there's an elevator shaft. I wonder if that's it. No, I think this actually can have overlapping areas. Oh no, I got killed.
You can see the
Oh, there's a checkpoint. Oh, you have lives. That's right.
you can see the Death Star
That's
there.
right.
The schematics for it.
Yeah, the first mission, I guess, is Kyle stealing the Death Star plans.
Yeah, I absolutely love the character of Kyle Katarn.
I agree.
He, basically, it's kind of funny because Finn in the new trilogy is a defecting stormtrooper, but Kyle here, many years prior, I don't know if he was ever a stormtrooper, but he was a cadet at least at the Empire's Academy, and then goes over to the Rebels in this game. So it's kind of cool that you're kind of a little bit of an in-between gray character.
That's right. Yeah.
So, but
Okay.
obviously his character gets expanded a lot in the sequels.
Also, down here on the floor, you see one of those little robots that kind of. They actually, I love that. They actually have a lot of little details like this where, again, and he's actually he's a 3D object. He's not just a sprite. So they really did a good job at capturing the feeling of Star Wars at a time when there really hadn't been anything quite like this before.
Also, the sound effects and the music. I mean, the sound
yeah.
effects are straight from the movie. It's the
Well,
same.
that's a fun thing to talk about with regards to the PlayStation version. Is the PlayStation had a very capable sound chip, and the music quality is quite good. It's different, but more comparable to the PC version using a high-end Roland synth, because this was a game that used general MIDI music, like many PC games of the time, rather than a pre-recorded soundtrack. So if you just had an FM synth card, it didn't sound nearly as rich. I think it uses the iMuse system, possibly.
I don't.
Or
know
maybe
if-
not.
I
No,
think
that might have
X1
just.
did, but not this one.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe not
know.
this one.
But yeah, you should probably explain what the iMuse system is for those who aren't familiar.
Oh, that's like from back in the day. LucasArts had an old system for basically allowing dynamic music playback.
Right.
It could use like environmental cues and various other techniques to sort of change the music based on the action.
It was a very dynamic and groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Every time I hear people talk about that, they're just like floored by how
Exactly.
groundbreaking. But it didn't. I think it was in Monkey Island 2.
Yeah, I mean it showed up in
X-Wing.
other games as well.
But it wasn't that many. It was strange. I guess MIDI music kind
No,
of.
it showed up in more than you'd think. It's just that it wasn't exploited to the full level that you
Right.
saw in Monkey Island 2. Now, I love this. This is the ship that picks you up, and you can see it's a full 3D object again. And this is true on the PC as well, which is only fascinating because it's very different than what you would have seen in the Doom engine. I don't think you could produce a floating 3D object like this.
No, I don't think so. I can't.
So now you actually... So this is weird. You actually hit start and then go to next mission. Same on the PC. Oh, yeah.
Wow,
and
look
you
how
can...
clean this screen, how stable this screen is compared to the gameplay itself.
I can save game. Let's see what we got.
Oh, no memory card.
Oh, well, let me put one in.
So John is bending over. He's putting it in. There you go. That sounded just the way I wanted it to sound.
That might get cut out.
Probably. This loading screen has always baffled me because it looks really bad compared to the rest of the game.
Well, it's like going for an old school like C64 like chunky font.
I guess so, or like one of the computers in the terminals in the original Star Wars, maybe.
Possibly.
So these.
Oh yeah, so this is actually a good example. So they actually just display this as a full-on video file, whereas on PC it was handled slightly differently.
Yeah, that's very different because
Well, I
these
guess
are much more crisp.
This, well, no, wait, no, what?
Oh wait, I'm talking about these
Oh.
scenes.
Oh yeah, exactly. On PC, there's a much crisper because they're not. It's not a video, so by being a video, you get all these extra compression artifacts on PlayStation, whereas on the PC, it's just bitmapped images. So it's like super clear. It looks like It's pixel art on the PC.
Yes. I mean, these kind of cutscenes had been in like Dune and stuff before as well. I mean, this was kind of the way
Yeah,
that PC games at this time
this
animated
was
and told
definitely a
stories.
staple of LucasArts, especially.
Especially them at this point, yeah. And it looks amazing. I mean,
I love the art,
here,
yeah.
The voice acting is also quite good for this time.
That was very typical of LucasArts, I'd say. Like they had an excellent pool of talent that they used in their games to do the voiceover tracks.
Oh yeah. No, here you can see. So, the Dark Trooper actually got its own action figure, and Kyle Katarn did as well.
Oh yeah.
And that was very rare for expanded universe characters at the time to get action figures. So I remember that my brother, he helped you on the Shadows of the Empire with his action
That's
figures.
right, yeah.
I remember when these came out, we were very excited because he was like, it was very rare at the time that these characters would get action figures from the Hasbro line. So that just is a testament to how popular these games were.
Okay. The PlayStation version then was the first one you played of Dark Forces, you said?
Yeah, I've actually never played the PC version to this day.
Well, we'll have to change that.
Yeah, probably.
But I actually did purchase this game back in the day. I remember walking up to a local store known as Media Play at the time, and
Okay.
it was a nice hour-long walk to get there, and I picked up a copy of Dark Forces and immediately fell in love with it.
No, I picked this up on PlayStation as soon as it came out. We picked up most of the Star Wars games at this time. And yeah, as I mentioned, this became quickly a favorite. Got
Okay.
Akbar here.
Yes. You can see, like, already, like, again, the amount of story being told within the context of a game like this was extremely new for the time. Like, you know, Doom really had no story to it beyond those little text scrawls, and most other games that followed in this model didn't either. But the Dark Forces games, obviously this one, and then Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight, which
goes very different direction.
Oh, yeah.
But is a continuation. But yeah, I mean, this was so interesting because this was, as I mentioned, today we have all these side story movies coming out, or at least they came out for a while until I guess some of them bombed. But this was, the preferred way of getting these stories out was the books and these video games. And Shadows of the Empire, talked about.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was, full canon continuation of Empire Strikes Back.
That's right. And in fact, the engine that powers this game was used to prototype stages for use in Shadows of the Empire. So,
which you can definitely see later in the game because you go into a Hoth-like stage and actually uses some of the architecture.
Yeah. It has that boxy architecture look. It's not rendered the same way as it would be on N64, of course, but you kind of get a feel for where that is. Okay, let's move on. We're actually not listening to the sound right now, so. Also, that's actually these are the original PC loading screens here, but the loading screens with the large chunky text were not in the PC version.
Oh, so they have to just do something quick there, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so this is interesting, I think, is look at these walls.
Mm-hmm.
You've played a lot of PlayStation games.
Yeah, I'm noticing something here.
They're not warping like crazy,
no,
are
they're
they?
not warping.
So I think this game works kind of like Duke Nukem 3D in that it's primarily a software rasterized game. Like, I don't think that they're using...
Oh, okay.
Which has the side effect of, well, it's going to run slower. The 33 megahertz CPU in the PlayStation obviously isn't enough to handle this at a super high frame rate, so it kind of chugs along. I'd imagine if they had found a way to do a more hardware accelerated version, unless I'm completely mistaken here, of course, it could have run better, but you may have encountered issues with affine texture warping.
Right.
Which, in a first-person game, is kind of a terrible thing, and that your face is constantly getting up close to these textures. And if they were warping like they do on most PlayStation games, it would be rather unsightly, I think.
Pretty much, since you're so up close.
So that I think is like super cool that we see it like this, and
It's
it
very
actually
rare to see that.
it runs a lot better than Duke Nukem 3D does. That game
I-
really chugs on the
I haven't
PlayStation.
seen the PlayStation
Oh,
version
it's-
of that for at least 25 years.
It even has a VSync option where you can
Oh,
disable
really?
that to get screen tearing, but it runs a little bit better.
Is that the only one on PlayStation that has that?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
By the way, I love this level, how they're just lighting up the surroundings. Like,
Right.
it's a fairly simple trick, but it really looks like there's like dynamic lighting, and because of how dark the stage is, it gives you this sensation of blaster fire, sort of like searing the darkness and like just blowing up in your face. It's very dramatic and it looks cool.
I also love that the stormtroopers actually kind of pull quotes from the film when you see
Oh,
them.
yeah, yeah.
Kind of like
They have
Rebel scum
the
and
right
all that.
voice acting too.
right.
Uh-oh,
I'm wondering if the lines are
I'm in
actually
big
pulled
trouble
from the
here.
movie. Oh, you only have your fist.
and my life is low.
Oh no, you got some.
So this game is much harder to play on PlayStation versus PC. I mean, it has auto aim, which helps, but the low frame rate, somewhat clunkier controls. Like by default, at least, to strafe, for instance, you hold R2, and then you can move left and right with the D-pad. You hold L1, you can look up and down, which, you know, I guess
Could
that's
you do that on Doom?
No. Now, this is, again, I think it's that fake... Yeah. See how it's like, it's not really a full 3D look up and down. It's just shifting the view somewhat.
Huh.
It's a trick of these types of engines. Let's see here. So onward, whoa.
So you never read the books at all from the expanded universe, did you?
Not really.
Huh. So there were actually 3 books based on this series.
I'm actually curious. I that's something I would like to read, actually. If you have those,
I do.
I'd love to check them out.
Yeah, I still have the hardcovers that I bought
Excellent.
back then. It's interesting because they go in a very different direction than the Jedi Knight series does. There's some similarities, but I'm trying to pull from my head now. But I think the first one is Soldier of the Empire. The second one is Rebel Agent,
You got it.
and then the third one is Dark Forces Jedi Knight. Which
Aha.
so, but those 3 books pretty good and expands a lot on the story scene here with the Dark Trooper project.
So yeah, inside here, I love. It's dark. I think you restore the energy in this level.
Well,
and
it
the
is
lights
Dark
come on.
Forces.
It is Dark Forces, but the way you can like light up the room with your blaster fire, and we're playing it on a CRT, of course. So
Oh, I mean, is there any other
It
way to
helps.
play games in your house?
no. I mean, technically yes, but also no. It's how we do it here.
I
how this
wouldn't want
looks
it any other way.
I wonder how this looks on the capture, though. It might be too dark.
Well-
Apologies if you're unable to see what's happening, except for when the blaster is
It's
popping
interesting.
off like this.
The room is very dark, so every time we shoot, the entire room we're sitting in is actually lighting up too.
That's right.
So it's pretty much like we're in the Star Wars universe ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, the frame rate's pretty low, but it's not unplayable, I'd say.
No, far from it. I think,
It's just I'm used to the PC version, which happens to run at 70 frames per second.
oh wow, okay,
so
so
it's
one of
very
those.
fluid.
Yeah. I mean, this is how I grew up with the game, and I don't have any comparison footage in my head to draw from. So this looks fine to me. So, and I think there's a case to be said that I don't think every game, of course, if it ran at a high frame rate, better, of course, but it's not that much of a detriment to this game that doesn't run at full frame rate.
No, it's still playable enough. But also in this game, even though I've played it so many times, I always get slightly turned around. I know I need to come over here. I don't know if I have what I need to do it
You
yet.
seem to
Oh, I
remember
have
the game better than me.
So I need to spin this bridge thing around to access this area. And that's something over here. This game can be rather confusing to navigate, I must admit.
Well, that was kind of the name of the game for these first-person shooters at the time, no?
I mean, somewhat, but I always thought that this one was surprisingly more difficult to work your way through than, say, Doom. The levels in Doom admittedly do flow a little bit better than this. But it's still fascinating to see how it works. They tried to create, I feel, more realistic environments, or at least environments driven more by the logic of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, you can kind of see
Like,
how
it's a-
like a control panel is kind of in proximity to what it's controlling and things like that. So there's, yeah.
So, okay. Oh, there's a bridge right there. So there we go. That's what I was talking about. That was
Okay.
not something that could easily be done in Doom.
So I'm guessing that you like this game better than Doom, or
No. I mean, I love this game, but Doom is my jam. Doom is one of the best games ever made, without a doubt. Wow, this is cool though.
it's like a disco. It's just a disco that you die in, but still.
Yeah.
It's really cool to just see these lighting effects. I always like when we go back to retro games. One of my favorite things to look at is lighting effects or lighting tricks in old video games. I never thought about it so much when I was a kid, but nowadays it's one of my favorite aspects to revisit.
This is not smooth in here.
No. So, what was your favorite Star Wars movie then?
Oh, definitely Empire Strikes Back.
I would agree with you.
I just love the tone, the vibe, the storytelling. It was, it's a classic. I still love the original as well. I was never a huge Empire Strikes Back fan. I mean, it's good, but, it got a little bit strange in some ways.
You mean Return of the Jedi, or
Oh, sorry, yes, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
What did I say?
you said Empire Strikes Back,
Oh,
which was
sorry.
also your favorite? So
Yes, well, that's how we...
playing and talking at the same time for us is not always easy. So
Yeah, exactly. The way the streamers do it. Okay, here we go. Aha. The electricity
oh,
engaged.
look at this.
Oh,
no,
fell
you're in the water.
Can I get out of this water?
This water was not in your water episode, John. Explain why.
Because it's just a simple texture that scrolls.
So this does not rank high on your water in video games list.
No, not especially. Now, I should note that I decided to play this with an original PlayStation controller, i.e. not the DualShock. And it's always kind of fun to go back to this one because it's very lightweight feeling. It's a very different, meager controller in comparison.
Well, obviously, also the DualShock wouldn't be supported in this game.
No, this was
being
too early
old,
of a title, so exactly. There's no need to plug that in.
Can't
There
you
we
do that?
go.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, cool. So I have, whoa,
Look at that frame rate.
it is smooth as butter. There we go. So I can go in here now. And
So you have to
Dang
wait.
it.
You have to wait for it, or
no, there must still be a button somewhere. Maybe in that control room there. So that sounds like, oh, you're frustrated trying to find it, but no. See, this is part of the charm of these games that I really enjoy, and it's something you don't see much anymore. Where exploration, you're driven to explore the level, and yeah, maybe Dark Forces goes a little bit too far with that, but like, okay, I found it. See, I walked over there. Logically, you see this room with a guard in it. You think, okay, if I come in here, maybe there's something. Hit this button, and there it goes. Oh, with guys firing at me, of course. But the idea of being presented with a large environment like this, that's somewhat non-linear, I think, is interesting. And it's something, again, modern shooters for a while haven't gotten. I mean, I think Doom started to move back in this direction. We've seen throwback shooters, of course, take this approach as well, and I'm very happy to see them return in some form. I think one of my favorites was Wrath.
oh
From
yeah,
3D
yeah,
Realms. It's just that's an amazing Quake style experience.
yeah. You were a big fan of that. I don't have that much familiarity with first-person shooters. It was never my genre. Beyond maybe this.
And Keelik the Blood. I know
Oh.
you're a big Keelik fan. It's okay. No judgment.
I hate Killick the Blood so much.
So, what do you think, CDI or Keelik the Blood?
Oh, dude, I'd share a bed with CDI every day.
All right. All right. Indeed. All right. Let's go in this room. Take him out. Oh man, it's not very smooth. Oh.
So what about the sequel then? What's your relationship to
Oh,
Jedi Knight?
That one I was also huge into back in the day, and I think Jedi Knight. I'd like to cover all of these games on a full DF retro at some point because there's a lot more to say that it's hard to get out during a Let's Play. But Yeah, Jedi Knight I think was interesting for its sense of scale.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's a game that I think does that better than many games today, where the environment that you traverse just feels massive.
That was also, like, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, this was a game that lets you kind of be in the Star Wars world, walk around, explore it. Jedi Knight was like the first time you could be a Jedi and
That's
kind
right.
of experience that. So
And it also used filmed footage, like
That's
new
right.
filmed footage, which was really interesting.
it was
at
the first time since Return of the Jedi at the
Was
time.
it really? Because I had
Yeah.
heard that too, but then I'm thinking, what about Rebel Assault 2?
Was that?
It has FMV in it.
Yeah, but wasn't
Rebel
that,
Assault 1 uses CGI,
that used CGI? But I'm trying.
but I don't remember which came first. They were
That's why I'm trying to think of. You could be
97
right.
was Jedi Knight, and I thought Rebel Assault 2 was like 96, but I might be wrong.
I think maybe what they mean is that it was the first time they did lightsaber battles.
Ah, that might be it.
Yeah, because I don't think that shows up in Rebel Assault 2, but that would be live footage as well, live action footage. So, but I believe the
You're right.
lightsaber fights.
That
were,
that I think that's it. I think
Yeah.
you're right. I think it's the lightsaber battles. Oh, wrong button there. These controls are not the most intuitive in the world, and man, this frame rate. It's just. I guess it's better than N64 style games like Perfect Dark and GoldenEye, really.
well, did you ever try using that dual N64 pad control scheme?
Yes, that's really cool. Okay.
So were these your favorite? I mean, this obviously, but you mentioned Jedi Knight as well. Were that your favorite Star Wars games, or were there any other Star Wars games you were playing a lot?
I mean, I played TIE Fighter back in the day. I love TIE Fighter.
Yeah,
But I think these were probably my favorite at the time, for sure.
yeah. Yeah, until Shadow of the Empire, this was my jam. This is why I was kind of playing a lot. I was so into this and Jedi Knight.
Okay. I got the Dark Trooper weapon,
That's right.
which I think was... Oh, that's cool. I forgot about this. You can actually...
Huh. Auto mount, goggles.
Headlight. I could have used the headlight during the dark sequences.
Oh yeah, you have to use that in the sewers though, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Spoilers.
well. What are you gonna do? Let's see here. No, I was...
Burned corpses here. Oh.
Yeah, it's a violent place. Okay.
So how did you like the new Star Wars trilogy then?
Oh man, it was all right. I mean, I don't hate them, any of them actually, but not, I'm a moderate fan. I've enjoyed them, but
I enjoyed all of them too. I thought they were just fun. I had a good time with my family at the cinema, so I can't complain.
that's right. But let's see here. Searching through here some more. Yeah, this
Did you play any Star Trek games back in the day?
No, not really.
No, neither did I. I did buy the TNG game, but it was very boring on Super
Go to
Nintendo.
PDA. Here we go. Hopefully this will give us an idea of... So, okay, yeah, I got the Dark Trooper weapon. Now I get to just have to return to the landing pad. That's what I was thinking. Right?
Oh.
Yeah, I used the
Took
speed
off, huh?
boost.
So you have to go to the
Oh,
landing
yeah.
area.
That's back where I came in. So yeah, back out here, cross the bridge. This is a pretty good level, I think.
Yeah, I love, as I mentioned earlier, the architecture of these stages is so fun that it actually makes sense overall.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, crossing this. Yeah. Whoa,
Oh, there's a guy there.
it's too slow. I can't.
I love how turning around is a big problem in this game.
It takes a while. Like when you're looking for a target, when the frame rate's that low, it actually becomes slightly tricky.
Oh, there's a guy there too.
Oh, look at this.
Oh,
That's how they did that bridge.
huh.
Huh.
Revealing all the secrets.
That's fascinating. Oh, I keep hitting this look button because I would like to strafe with the L and R, but you have to hold the strafe button. highly inconvenient.
So this is where you come from, yeah?
Yep.
And then...
Oh no.
Oh, there's people here.
My energy is rather low, so I have to be careful.
Oh.
But I turn like a tank in this game.
I love the weapons too. The fact, like, the way the weapons are designed, just the feel of them, the power of these rifles. It is very Star Warsy through and through.
Absolutely.
I mean, the weapons in these games were so essential because of like Doom and the shotgun, right? So if
Exactly.
we made these games, it had to
There
nail.
it comes.
Oh, better not get shot now.
Next mission.
You did it,
All right. We did it. Sure, why not?
and you do have the memory card this time.
Yes. Okay. Let's see what's next. Should be successful.
I still think this loading screen could have done a little bit more of an effort on it.
Yeah. I can't disagree. I dislike the fact that the loading text is chunkier than the lines surrounding it somehow. It's like a strange pixel mismatch.
You don't like that in most C64 games either. The fact that there's different sides of
I hate that,
the
yeah.
chunky pixels.
Okay. I think this is the desert-looking mission.
Oh, I thought you were going to the city now. Oh no, well, I guess we're both right. This is where
Yeah.
you go into the sewers and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep. No, this is the one. You're right.
Yeah, I never liked playing this level because it has like kind of spiderish tentacles. This is my problem in Shadows of the Empire 2. Where
I will
look
say,
at the
though, look
sewers.
at that skybox. I love that design. LucasArts was really great at this sort of pixel art painting designs, and, you know, seeing it in a first-person shooter as well was quite nice at the time.
It's also so essential for that Star Wars feel that every sky is different because that's what kind of
That's right.
signifies these different locations in the movies
it's
as
the
well.
sewers.
Yeah,
Oh, you actually, I think you control, like, the different sluice gates, which ones are open. Again, it's like you're manipulating a piece of machinery, and that's really an interesting element in this game. It's like, you know, I hit this little switch, opens this door. So you know you immediately have multiple entrance points to this area. But I'm going to leave that for now and actually go check out other areas and levels. Oh, there's a drone. Take him out. Let's see what else we have. Oh, another one.
oh, it's a spy droid from Hoth.
Yeah. I always think of Shadows of the Empire from them.
Yeah, I
Whoa.
mean, obviously, the first stage is Hoth. So,
Let's try this. Oh, wait.
oh, you're gonna put your headlight on? There you go.
Oh, okay.
It lights up pretty well. There was a droid there too. So in terms of first-person shooter games on the PlayStation 1, now outside of Doom, we talked about Doom already, but what was some other ones you enjoyed?
I think Disruptor from Insomniac was actually one
that's
of
a
the
great
better
one,
ones.
yeah,
It
yeah.
looks and runs beautifully. It's a true 3D engine, but it uses sprites for enemies and weapons, so it has a unique look to it. But it is hardware accelerated. It runs very, very well. It's a very cool sort of action game on the PlayStation. Oh, that's a tricky one. I mean, of course, it's the inferior version, but Power Slave, of course,
Right.
is one of it's a phenomenal game. It's still good on PlayStation, just not quite as good as the Saturn version.
You did an episode on that, right?
I did, yes, a full episode covering that. One of my favorites of that generation.
I always want to introduce you to one shooter that's called Expert. It's a Japanese first-person shooter that's kind of based around police action in like a Doom engine.
I would be curious to see that, actually.
Yeah, I have a copy at home. I'll bring it next time. We'll do a Let's Play.
Moving through the sludge.
I always hated this because of this. Yeah.
At least I got the headlight. Okay.
The trash compactor monster was actually one of the few movie monsters that gave me nightmares as a kid.
Well, I think this is... It does have a nice atmosphere. I mean, they really did nail that sort of... Like, that vibe that the original Star Wars trilogy, especially the first movie, has.
Oh yeah, the
with this
used
game.
universe type
Yeah,
feel.
it's very grungy and dark, and it has like a sort of a creepy side to it. It's quite engaging, I think.
Yeah, this is what was kind of lacking from the prequels was this
Oh
kind of
yeah.
grungy, as you said, scary feel. There was no kind of moment like that in
I guess
those.
with the actual prequels, it kind of made sense in the sense that it was, a prequel, a
So it
time
was
when
a
things
new universe, not a
exactly.
used one.
Oh boy,
Oh yeah,
that thing.
yeah. In Shadows of the Empire, it's even worse because they have like this
Yeah.
spider-like movement, and I have
Oh,
severe arachnophobia.
this is not good. I'm out of ammo. My fist punches the water though.
It's very similar to the Doom Fist.
It really is actually. That's a good point.
Oh, that was a door. I couldn't even tell. Yeah, it's a very interesting level design. You hadn't really seen this so much in the first-person shooter, had you? Like this kind of like, all these elements. You have like this sludge.
Yeah, I mean, Doom levels were kind of the puzzle box design, which is similar, but I like that they tried to make this more grounded.
Yeah.
Like you're manipulating machinery, exploring villages. I'm inside this sort of like sewer area with mechanics that function as you would kind of expect, like flushing things out by hitting buttons. It's a cool thing, and the whole game is like this, where each stage kind of has its own different theme that pushes it along. So
Too bad I never made like a theme park ride out of this, like the sewer slime ride.
not getting that way. You can run quickly through this. It's like extreme speed.
Oh, look at that.
Am I going in circles?
I think you are. I think there's like, here, there's some sort of like end point here.
This feels very Star Warsy.
Or maybe not.
No, I'm through. Oh, creature.
Yeah,
And
you're
then
out.
You're ejected
And now
back
you're
out
back
here.
to the middle again.
I think we could go on and on and on for a while at this game, but I think maybe we should call it here. We've seen a decent chunk of the game. It's still a great shooter. PlayStation version is interesting, but flawed. But still, for the time, it was a great way to experience Dark Forces.
I'm guessing today you can get it on Steam, right?
Oh yeah, but unfortunately, because it's a 70 hertz game, it is not the smoothest experience on a modern PC using DOSBox, unless you have like, I guess with a G-Sync monitor you could overcome this, but on a normal display, a 60 hertz display, it doesn't look great in motion, which is a shame. You need a proper CRT running it in 70 hertz, which is the only way to play it. But that's going to do it for now. So thanks for joining me during this journey through the first 3 stages of Dark Forces.
Well, I look forward to that episode you mentioned on the series.
Yeah, me too. And if you guys enjoyed this one, as always, be sure to like and subscribe, ring the notification bell, all that good stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching, and stay retro.